Hey guys, it's Ryan, and this is another episode of still doesn't have a name. This is another me reviewing this week's Raw wrestling on television. I've already messed everything up, but it's fine. We'll just go from here, and we'll just see how we come out. I hope as better people, or at least as good as people as we came in. I'm sorry this is really late, coming out on Monday or possibly even Tuesday, but I've been away for the weekend, doing important, not work. But yeah, so this week's will be out Monday, Tuesday. Don't know when this is going to be able to upload, just because my internet's really slow. And then Tuesday will be the same. Not next week's. I'll be away again, so it'll be another Monday episode. I'm sorry about that, but hoping to have another video out on Wednesday before I go. No, we've actually already recorded. I just need to get the audio for it. But it's me and a friend talking about Holy Foley. It's a great show. It's an amazing work of art. But enough of that. Let's talk about all this week's wrestling. This week I watched Raw, Smackdown, NXT, the Cruiserweight Classic, and TNA. I have still been watching Ring of Honor, but I'm kind of going to leave it for a while talking about it, just because I want to be able to fully form my opinion on Ring of Honor as a whole before I can talk about each individual episode. I feel like I don't know enough about it to give an insightful review of any sort. So, with that said, yeah, Monday Night Raw opened with the sad news: Finn Balor injured his shoulder and had to vacate the Universal title he had won only a day before. Really unfortunate. Like, horrible thing to happen. He was getting such a big push. They plan to keep the belt on him for at least a few months by all indications, for him to feud with Owens and Jericho. So it's really sad. It's going to be out for a while. Rumours are until 6 months, until about February. Hopefully back before WrestleMania. In a dream, back before the Royal Rumble. Be a nice big return. I hope he gets a big push when he comes back. It feels kind of... because we know sometimes WWE can be really iffy pushing people if they've been injured. So it would really suck for Finn, who is not super old, but is definitely an older guy. But it would be sad if WWE called on him for a while and we had to wait even longer for him to get his big push. So basically, what we had on this week's Raw, there were 4 matches, to decide the 4 contestants in a fatal 4-way to decide who the new Universal Champion will be. The first match was Sami versus Seth in a just a regular starting match. Quite a good match. I really liked, basically, Sami injured, quotation marks, his leg, and that unfortunately meant he couldn't win the match, so Seth won. But it's good that, once again, Sami at the moment is in a good place, I feel, because he's doing the whole being screwed out of all his opportunities. He got screwed out of his opportunities by Kevin Owens. He got screwed out by this. He got screwed out by that. So it feels like they're not just having him lose. Like, he's not just getting beaten clean by Seth. It's an actual sort of... he's almost nearly there, but he can never quite get there. Something always goes wrong. The other 3 competitors were Kevin Owens, who beat Neville, Big Cass, who beat Rusev by count out when Rusev pissed off, and Reigns, who beat Jericho in the main event, even though Kevin Owens interfered. I really wish Jericho wasn't in this. Not Jericho. I really wish Reigns wasn't in this. We just pushed him down to the upper mid card. We were just finally putting him somewhere where he could actually sort of do some good and get cheered. And he's straight away, as soon as there's anything going wrong, we need to put Reigns back in the main event. Really hope he doesn't win. Not because I hate the person, I just don't want... this soon after we got the big shake-ups of him losing the title and then Dean winning it and going from there, and Finn Balor winning it, to go back to Reigns, or honestly to go back to Seth, would not be a huge fan. I personally would not be a huge fan of that. I like them both as wrestlers, but I think we need a little time where the Shield aren't at the top, because we're starting to get to a point where there's always a former member of the Shield at the top of the card, and I'm getting a little sick of it. Big Cass is an interesting choice, I would say. I would have preferred if Neville or Sami Zayn were in this match. Honestly, I guess they're bringing in Big Cass because, one, he's a good face surrounded by people who are in theory either heels or people who aren't going to get cheered. And I'm assuming there's all the rumours that one day they're going to push Big Cass as the main event, single star. And I hope, if they do it like this, where Enzo is his mouthpiece, but Cass is the fighter, I would be okay with that. And we also, I guess, Roman and Rusev aren't fighting anymore, unless Rusev interferes to stop Roman's match. I feel like this, if you were going to end that feud, Roman should have beat Rusev in this match. And then you could kind of be like, oh, well, it's over. Roman moved on. A load of crap happened. I'm not going to talk about everything, because Raw has... I know I say it all the time, Raw is far too long. There's too much stuff in it that doesn't matter and doesn't feel important. Moving on, women's segment, Sasha's gone. She didn't even turn up for this, so I assume she's either on her honeymoon or healing up or whatever she's doing. Hope she comes back soon, hope she's well. But, of course, we had the debut of Bayley. I thought this was a little weirdly handled, because instead of, you kind of expect, at some point Charlotte's out there, she's, oh, I've beaten everyone, no one can beat me. Like, there's no one left. Which, really, there isn't. There are no faces left on Raw, I don't think, female faces. Until Bayley appears, but she doesn't just make a surprise debut. Mick Foley comes out, and everyone instantly knows, oh, he's going to introduce Bayley. We get just people chanting Bayley, Bayley, which is nice, but it feels like we all know Bayley's going to come out, but you're kind of ruining the moment by not pretending. Like, you should pretend, in my opinion, you should pretend to not know that Bayley's going to come out. You should be like, oh, who's it going to be? Yay, it's Bayley. Equally, happy Bayley's up. I know I said I preferred her to have been on Smackdown, because honestly, I just think SmackDown's doing much better with the women's division. But Bayley is a 4 Horsewoman member, so she'll be treated okay. And she's going to feud with Charlotte. Which, of course, yeah, I get why they put the title back on Charlotte. They want Bayley to come up and hopefully win it quite soon. I don't want Charlotte to hold that title for another God knows how many months. Everyone's like, no, it should be a big WrestleMania moment. In the time it takes for us to get from now to WrestleMania, Charlotte could have been injured, Bayley could have been injured, anyone could have been injured. We have to understand now that we have to do these things quickly. We can't hold out forever. We can't hold out for WrestleMania moments. So after that we had Titus O'Neil come out and give an awful, he stumbles and flubs about as much as I do in one of these videos. The crowd had no reaction to him, which I don't blame them for. I'm not saying it's their fault, but just a terrible, in my opinion, waste of time. This is a waste of time feud. I feel I really want Darren Young to do something cool, because in the original videos with him and Bob Backlund, where they're in separate rooms and it feels really weird and awkward, weren't good. But now that they're together and we see them together and we have him doing promos, he's great, and I really want him to go places. He's another person I wish had been on SmackDown. I feel like he could really be doing well there. He'd definitely be in that sort of Baron Corbin, Kalisto, Apollo Crews area, which would be a nice spot for him. It'd be better than what he's doing now. There was some tag stuff. The club did something stupid. I can't remember. Oh, Anderson lost to Big E. It's fine. Big E's coming back, but I'm really hoping the club are going to take the belts off them soon. Maybe get a third member. I don't know. But then it got really good at the end. I really enjoyed basically the Dudley Boys are leaving WWE. This has been confirmed. So they're having their thing, and they did a good twist on it where Primo and Epico came out, and it looks like the Dudleys are going to put them through tables and get their good old send off where they put people through tables and leave. But then the club come out and ruin it and put them through tables. And I think that's brilliant, because that makes people actually gives the club heat, and it makes them look good. And the Dudleys get to go out on the backs, which is what I assume a lot of wrestlers want to do. Yeah, the main event was Reigns versus Jericho. The only thing I really had to note was Rusev seemed really weak. He seemed really weak in how he's being portrayed since the Roman feud started. And I'm worried they're going to keep him like that. Like, he should be a monster. But they're just not doing it. Like, he ran away from Big Cass. He was, of course, getting the shit kicked out of him by Reigns every week. Don't know where they're going to go with it. I hope, whatever he does next, I hope he gets to crush some people, and we really get some monster Rusev. Moving on to the far better show, SmackDown Live. We opened with AJ and AJ Styles, not AJ Lee, and Dolph Ziggler confronting each other. And that was sort of the drive of the entire... And the drive of the entire episode was AJ Styles and Dolph sort of going at each other, interrupting each other, fighting. It was really good and led to the main event of the two of them fighting, for Ziggler to be added to the title match, AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose at Backlash, which Dolph lost, but really good match. One of the better TV matches of this year, like WWE TV programming. I think it's one of the better matches. It was really good, really fun match. Like, they really went at it full force in this match. We had the new women's and tag titles for SmackDown, and it's good. No, the women's division and the tag team division are getting belts. That's important. I like that they waited till after SummerSlam, because we got time to get to know both divisions and get to know all the people in both divisions before they all started fighting over belts. I don't like the designs. The tag belts actually look nicer than the Raw ones, but they're just a colour swapped like version of it, where they're silver and blue instead of bronze and black. They look better. They look more prestigious because of the silver, but at the same time, both belts are just like recolors. The women's belt is the same white strap, but blue instead of red in the centerpiece, or whatever it's called. But not really. I don't like, especially because I feel like SmackDown should be trying to differentiate their belts from Raw, and Raw from SmackDown. I would have preferred if the Universal Championship had been a different design to the World Heavyweight Championship, and Raw had kind of brought in a different set of designs for all the belts. And you had these, like, all kind of going off the World Championship on SmackDown. So give each show its own unique feel of what the belts are. Like, each show has the same design, but each show, like, Raw has a different template to SmackDown. Instead, they're just kind of sharing the template and how they look and how they're, like, kind of uniform across both shows, and I'm not a huge fan. Because the whole point is they're supposed to be different, and it's not. It's the same. And I really would have loved to have seen some, like, big gold belt designs. We don't really have any of those at the moment, and it just could have been cool. But on to more positive stuff. The women having apparently this is the first women's six-pack challenge. SmackDown really likes their six-pack challenge by the looks of it. But it's their first six-pound challenge for the belt, which really happy about. All the women get a chance. I feel like this is an important thing. Raw didn't do this. Like, everyone who can go for that belt is getting a chance. Same with the tag teams who are having a tournament. No, both of these matches will be decided at Backlash. The build-up's been good because we're kind of getting individual matches. We got a double turn, I guess, in the most basic of ways, from Carmella and Nikki Bella, when Carmella attacked Nikki Bella, turning her face and Carmella heel, which is fine. There wasn't a huge amount to it. Actually, I'll talk about that in a bit. But looking forward to that match. Good build up. What was that? The tag team tournament's going quite well. The first two matches were really good. And next week we're getting We're getting Heath Slater and Rhino, who have teamed up, and I'm looking forward to that because they've teamed up. We're getting another tag team in. We don't know who it is yet. It might be a returning tag team, might be someone from a tag team from NXT, and they're going to compete in this tag team tournament against Heath Slater and Rhino, with Heath Slater getting a contract on the line as long as he wins the tournament. The matches were good. Even though Breezango and the Ascension lost, they looked pretty strong, they looked good. I'm hoping we get more of them in the future, like more of them looking good. And I'm looking forward to both those matches. The build up to Backlash is going well so far. I kind of talked about all this stuff. I'm hoping the NXT, if it's an NXT call up, I kind of hope it's Gargano and Ciampa. Even if they kind of had a storyline going on in NXT, I feel like you can make the argument that they can also be called up, and the story can continue there on a bigger stage. Could be the Revival, but that would hint pretty heavily that they're going to lose the titles. And then, we had the great main event. This is also, I'm looking forward to AJ Styles and Ambrose feuding, because if their feud's as good as Ambrose and Ziggler's, but the match is better, which I feel like I would be shocked if Styles puts on anything less than like a 4-star match with Ambrose. I'm so looking forward to that. Then we had Talking Smack. Talking Smack is brilliant. It's my favourite thing of all wrestling every week. We of course there was a women's segment where Carmella attacked Nikki Bella again. And what made this really work is that instead of just brushing along to the next thing like they often do in the main show, you actually had a minute after they had both gone of Renee just being like, is she okay? Is Carmella gone? Can we go? And the Usos were on it as well. They were good. The Usos are really likeable when I'm not having to watch them wrestle. Hell, they're good wrestlers. They just don't have any characters on the main roster, on the like shows. But here on Talking Smack, they really got to be likeable and funny. And just do that. Just maybe bring a bit of that into the actual show. But of course, the highlight, the thing everyone has been talking about, The Miz brutalizing Daniel Bryan. Just, why don't you go wrestling bingo halls if you love wrestling so much? Just full on, I will be the best Intercontinental Champion ever. Miz was so passionate. This was so well delivered. Absolutely great. Really hoping they go forward with this and take it to good places. I feel like it could be really interesting. And but really loved it. Great stuff. And I hope that, whilst obviously not as big as CM Punk's pipe bomb, I really hope it's got a lot of views on YouTube. A lot of people talking about it. I'm hoping it takes SmackDown places. I hope it draws more eyes to SmackDown. But once again, SmackDown was just a better show than Raw. It's tighter. Everything feels important on SmackDown. Here's an important storyline. Everyone's being used. I really love it. And if you're only watching Raw, give SmackDown a go. I feel like it will turn you. NXT, pretty much just nothing, because it was obviously the first episode after TakeOver, so they've just recorded 2 matches before TakeOver and shown those with a bunch of recaps of what happened at TakeOver. Decent matches. Ty Dillinger versus Wesley Blake. Fun match. I'm quite enjoying Wesley Blake's new gimmick. It's really weird. He comes out to this slow dream pop music and he's blowing kisses, and I'm hoping we get some emo poetry soon. I feel like that's what will sell it. And Ty, of course, they put him against a heel, which is quite good. People love him so much. And I can see why. He's great. Hope they were doing a story with him for a little while. They were kind of building up that he keeps losing, but he just beat Wesley Blake, so I don't know where they're going with that. I don't know if they're just going to drop it. Authors of Pain beat TM61. Just good match. The good thing is TM61 looked good in that match. Like, whenever they did hit a move on the Authors of Pain, they looked like they were winning. They looked like they were delivering damage. The Authors of Pain are really good overall, I would say. Like, of course, they're big dudes who do big dude stuff, but they're good at it. I don't like their finisher though, where one of the members of the Authors of Pain just holds their opponent up, and the other guy just clotheslines him. I think it looks really weak. If you made it more flatlinery, maybe. I don't know. Cruiserweight Classic, so good. Once again, every week, Cruiserweight Classic is just delivering high quality matches. We had Lindsay Dorado versus Rich Swann. Rich Swann from NXT has appeared on the show occasionally. Well loved. He has the All Night Long. People sing All Night Long at him. I don't know why. I think it was something to do with his old entrance music, but it's really enjoyable. He's really great. His dancing works in a way other dancing gimmicks go. It doesn't feel like a gimmick, it just feels like something he does in the ring. And he's a great wrestler. His Phoenix Splash was beautiful. Brilliant. I hope he's going up to the Cruiserweight division, so looking forward to that a lot. We had Gulak versus Zack Sabre Jr. I don't quite get the hype for Zack Sabre Jr. compared to Noam Dar or Jack Gallagher. I feel like both of those guys are more enjoyable to watch than Sabre at the moment. I don't know if he's not giving it his all. I haven't seen him do any other matches, so don't know. But hope his next one, I think it's against Noam Dar. Hope it's good. And then last off, we had Johnny Gargano versus TJ Perkins. I really like Perkins, but I fucking love Gargano. He's such a lovable guy. It's interesting they had him lose just after beating Ciampa, but hopefully that plays into their... I hate saying it, I don't want them to break up, but their quite apparent breakup storyline. You can have Ciampa saying, well, you beat me and then you went and lost the next round, I could have got through. Also, really brilliant continuity. He had his leg injured, he was selling his leg injury, and he got at NXT TakeOver, but they filmed the Cruiserweight Classic weeks before TakeOver. Really good. So that's the end of the second round, so we're moving on to the semi-finals, quarterfinals. Some sort of, the third round. We have Tozawa versus Grand Metalik. Should be good. Sabre versus Dar. That'll be just England versus Scotland. I'm rooting for Dar. I'm English, but Dar is a really likeable guy, really good wrestler. If you didn't see his match with Jay Lethal from WCPW, which, iffy promotion as a whole maybe, but a really good match. Kota Ibushi versus Brian Kendrick. Looking forward to that. Love Brian Kendrick. Love Kota Ibushi. And Rich Swann versus Perkins. I want Perkins to lose just because he beat Johnny Gargano. But Swann's really great. I hope he goes far. And all around the Cruiserweight Classic is so good. It's just good wrestling every week. Nothing more, nothing less. And finally, I get to talk about TNA, which I've watched. I'm caught up on. And I just wanted to talk a bit about, having never watched it before these last 3 episodes, I wanted to talk a bit about TNA as a whole. Start with something bad. It looks, for some reason, just looking at TNA, I don't know if it's the size of the Impact Zone or if it's the lighting, but something about it looks cheap. Not like indie cheap, but like TV cheap. It's hard to explain. There's something, I just look at it and I kind of think, you could use some like a bigger arena or something. But I do like the 6-sided ring. I think that's really cool because it makes it different to WWE. And I think that's important. It looks cool and it changes the dynamic of matches in a fun way. I like the backstage stuff and it looks like it's filmed by like hidden cameras, or people interact with the cameras like they're pushing it away when they want people to go away and stuff, which is really good. I think WWE is weird in how it does backstage stuff, where it's just, Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley are having a conversation, but there's just a camera here just hanging around. Like, TNA always feels natural. It always feels like the camera's supposed to be there. Except when it's shot like a movie for no real reason. Like, there are some scenes, there are some bits, stuff like the final deletion, where they're not just shot like a bunch of people are shooting it at once, they're shot like a movie. The cameras don't exist in universe, and it throws me off, because when Lucha Underground always does that, everything in Lucha Underground is filmed like that. So it makes sense, you're like, oh, the world is a world, it's in universe, and the cameras don't exist in universe. But TNA, most of it's shot like the cameras exist in the universe, and then sometimes they're just not for some reason. Not a huge fan of that. Pick one or the other, I'd say. So we had a number one contendership battle royale for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's fine. I didn't know a lot of the people who were in here. I did enjoy how everyone got an entrance. I thought that was really funny, because WWE, of course, it would just be like, no, the last three guys who matter. Like, Big Show gets an entrance, so we can all say, how's anyone going to eliminate him? But yeah, decent match. Mike Bennett won to become number one contender. The Miracle Mike Bennett. Don't know who he is at all. But him and Moose seem to be having a good storyline going on. And then, of course, the main reason I started watching that and Damien Sandow, which I'll talk about in a bit, the Hardys, Broken Matt, and the obsolete mule, Brother Nero. Brilliant. So funny. They had a sort of confrontation with Decay, and Broken Matt literally called Jeff Hardy, was like, you damn spot monkey. It's so funny. And I'm really looking forward to that match with Decay. I like Decay a lot. I feel like it's the sort of gimmick that if the wrong people were doing it, it really wouldn't work. But Decay, especially Rosemary, they just sell the crazy team thing really well and make it look really good and make it feel like not cringeworthy. And then, of course, so we had a Jeff Hardy versus one of the members of Decay. I think he's called Abyss. But the main thing that was notable about that was Matt Hardy accusing Crazy Steve, the other member, of trying to kidnap King Maxwell, his son, and biting his face. I'm just enjoying it. It's just two crazy teams going at it, and I think that's really fun, because everyone's behind the Hardys. It's dumb, and they're supposed to be bad guys, but everyone loves it. Everyone chants delete. Everyone shouts obsolete in the Jeff Hardy's spoken word entrance music, which is also really weird. Like, it's probably on purpose, but I always feel like the sentence he's saying, what is it? Whatever it is, I'll fade away and find myself obsolete, or whatever it is. I feel like it sounds like it's going to go on longer, and then it just stops. And I'm always like, oh, it should be a bit longer. It throws me off. It's really good. Billy Corgan, noted as on Wikipedia as the only permanent member of the Smashing Pumpkins and a new chairman or president or something of TNA, made a Fatal 5-Way for the Knockouts Championship, which I don't like the name Knockouts, but they don't treat them how they treated Divas 5 years ago or whatever. They get a proper storyline, they get proper matches. So he arranged a 5-Way. It was really fun. Ali, so we have the queen of the Knockouts division. I can't remember her name now. I feel really bad. Basically trying to control the division and trying to keep the title on Sienna, her sort of chosen champion. And Ali is her assistant, who is this high-pitched, incredibly incompetent, but utterly lovable, utterly adorable babyface who's the assistant to just a mean heel. And it's so funny. And completely by accident. So in the match, Ali is basically either hiding behind Sienna or trying to help. She tries to do a two-person, I can't remember what it's called, where they each goes under one arm and they flip them over. I think it might be just a suplex of some kind. She tries to do a two-person suplex and she can't do it right. Sienna's just shouting at her to leave, and then her boss is shouting at her to help. It's really funny, and then Ali gets knocked out onto one of the other people and wins the Knockouts Championship. really funny. Ali was getting a proper Ali chance. People really like her. It's just her. There was a brilliant. They interviewed her behind the scenes after. She's like, I'm so happy I won this championship, even though I can't wrestle. I'm terrible. And like, so how will your boss feel? And she just looks at the camera and she's just like, oh. So I really want to see where that goes. Honestly, I enjoy the knockout stuff. They may be less talented than the best at WWE, but I'm enjoying this storyline as much, if not more than, like, the storyline on Raw. It's really funny. It's really, like, I genuinely want to see where it goes. It's overall just really good stuff. And I really love Ali. I've been watching, she's Cherry Bomb on the Indies, been watching that stuff, and she's actually a great wrestler. So, we'll see how that goes. I hope she gets to show that off a bit in TNA before she gets scooped up by NXT or just the main roster. The main roster needs women so bad in WWE. They really need more. Drew Galloway and EC3 were in EC3's luxury apartment talking about how Galloway was being screwed out of championship shots repeatedly by EC3 by accident, because they're having a match tonight to decide who will face the champion at Bound for Glory, which is their next pay-per-view. I find it really funny as well, because they always go, who is Bound for Glory? Like it's a question, like, who's Bound for Glory? Who is going to be glorious? But because I know it's the name of the pay-per-view, all I hear is, who is Bound for Glory? What do they look like? Where do they live? Why did we name a pay-per-view after them? So I find that funny. And there was just so many drone camera shots from overhead, which just don't look great, TNA. I'm sorry. Sorry to pick apart the excellent production of the people who made the final deletion, but drone camera, no. No drone camera. And then at the end, EC3 got pushed into a pool. Obviously, just because, damn, he looked good. Comes up, his shirt's all stuck to his body. I don't know how many women fans TNA has, but I assume it's a fair amount. There was Eli Drake, the former King of the Mountain champion, hosted The Facts of Life, which is his talk show. I don't understand why wrestlers have talk shows on wrestling shows. It seems weird. Why doesn't Renee Young do this? But no, an actual wrestler has their own talk show on the wrestling show. I'm not going to question it too much. He had the entire X Division on, because they're having a Gauntlet Ultimate X match. I don't know what a Gauntlet match, or how that would be done, considering an Ultimate X match is kind of like a ladder match, but with a big X. But I didn't really learn anything about any of the members of the X Division from this segment. I learned far more about Eli Drake as a character, who I do love. He is really funny. His idiot yeah button is great. His Eli Drake, it's good stuff. I really enjoy him, but didn't do a good job to me of making me care about the X Division and making me care about these people and who wins and all this sort of stuff. Then finally, the main event of this week's TNA was Drew Galloway versus EC3 with Aaron Rex, or Damien Sandow, as some of you may know him, as the referee. Good match. EC3 won, and afterwards Galloway attacked Aaron Rex. Even though Aaron Rex called it directly down the middle, Drew Galloway attacked him. So obviously gonna have some sort of feud there. I hope they have good plans for him, because so far I feel like what Aaron Rex, Damien Sandow is good at is making really funny gimmicks, and at the moment he's just a guy. They're doing I didn't get to grasp the brass ring in WWE thing with him, so I hope we get something fun with him, honestly. But we're getting this Galloway feud, hope that's good. And EC3 versus probably Bobby Lashley. I imagine Lashley's going to keep the title, till Bound for Glory. EC3 versus Bobby Lashley should be a good match. And that's all I had to say about TNA. I really enjoy TNA. I think it's really going well at the moment. It's not perfect, of course. There's a lot of like little story inconsistencies and little failures, but overall, it's a tight. Like, it's once again only an hour and a half. It's tight. It's fast. Everything feels like it's important. All the storylines are enjoyable, if only because they're really funny. The Hardy stuff, the Ali in the women's division, just a lot of really funny stuff, and I don't mind that. I think that's good. I think wrestling should be fun. But that's pretty much everything this week. It was a pretty good week for wrestling. There was a lot of good stuff on. But yeah, this won't be coming out again until next Monday. After that, I'm going to try and stick to getting out Friday or Saturday. Going to see how quickly I can turn over on that and that sort of stuff. But hopefully, after next week, Fridays and Saturdays every week will be this show. That doesn't have a name. It's just me talking about wrestling. Anything else? Yeah, go follow me on Twitter, which the link is in the description, and like and comment and subscribe. And just I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll see you all next week.